Dude, Alex, come on. Man, Alex cannot just catch a break, can he? He was one of my favorite characters when he was first introduced, just because I liked his sort of simple design and his brutal and wild sense of fighting. It was like a fighting style that I usually love. Like I always love the berserkers in like any party, I guess, and that's what Alex always seems to me. Can he just win once? Colton doesn't count, and also the middle school fight he had doesn't count. I meant somebody who actually matters. He is like Zach, just in lookism. Jesus. If you watch my other video on like a viral hit, I talk about Weak Hero a little bit too. I think you should have fought Noxung, because like I feel like they had like a lot of thematic relevance to each other, and it could have been really interesting. Not to mention, it would have just been a better cliffhanger and hook for like the next season, or just an awesome fight with Alex and Noxung too. I feel like it did a disservice to both of them, which I mean, fine. I guess it wasn't meant to be like, it was supposed to be sort of an afterthought when after Jake and Ben fought, which, you know what, fine, I get that. I still think it could have been something, but if you don't want to do that, that's fine. The Ma Quad duo, I have mixed feelings about, just because Miles Drew was something they set up so well and just so subtly that I wanted it to, become something. And I'm sure it will, maybe, or maybe that's, I don't know. Like, there's still a lot of the season left to go, I'm pretty sure. And Miles could come back. If he doesn't, then what was the point of any of this? But I will admit that the Ma Quad duo, like their introduction, was really funny. I'm not sure if it was supposed to be funny, but I found it funny how we just like set up Miles like so much. Oh man, he's like what was he, like number 4, number 3 on the ranking union, and then he just got completely and utterly destroyed the minute he like just stepped into the series. It was funny, and honestly, for building up the duo, it was pretty, like, I think that was a pretty nice way of doing it. The duo, they're basically Derek and Max from Lookism, where it's like together they're amazing, apart they're average to kind of garbage. I don't know. I'm always a sucker for like team combinations, right? Where it's like two people just work really well together and they have different fighting styles that complement each other, or just look nice, or like are able to interweave their fighting styles. The fact that they're actually friends is really nice. I'm glad we actually get to see some people have a nice bromance. I mean, there was like Jake and that other guy, Dean. Yeah, they were fine too, but I don't know. Just like, I like the way they did it. Okay, I apologize if I'm like if it seems like I'm out of it. I don't remember their names, and I don't want to like look at my phone every 2 seconds, so I'm just gonna call like the long-haired one. The way they frame this fight is that Alex and Gerard are just sort of doing their own thing, and then the duo attacks them, and they split up basically. And at first, I didn't think it was that. I didn't think much of it, because like they don't really have that much thematic relevance to each other. Like Alex and the long-haired guy, I guess they're both insane, and they both have kind of wild fighting styles, but in sort of different ways. Like Alex is a rager, while the long-haired guy is kind of like the Joker, where he's just really unpredictable. I do think Gerard sort of had it better, since, he's always been sort of the crowd control of Yoon Jang, and he's never specialized in one-on-one fighting. So for him to go up against this huge, hulking wall of a man is sort of a serious, interesting threat for Gerard, and I thought it was really well done. They've tried building up Alex that, oh man, he's learning boxing now, and like he's learning how to control himself, and like I wouldn't even like mind so much, except for the fact that the webtoon focuses on it a lot. They always talk about how, or like Alex always dwells on the fact that he always has to be protected, and always has to, like, he always gets himself into trouble, which causes trouble for everyone else. In the fight itself, they make efforts to show that yes, Alex has improved and has become a better fighter. A part of me is a little disappointed though that like he's completely abandoned his old style of fighting, because for one thing, I really liked it, and two, again, he's never won with it, so it's like it just reinforces just how weak he was. And 3, it's what made Alex stand out. He was the rager, he was the one who went wild and went loose. And now he's trying to disown that completely. I don't know, something about that just makes it feel like he's losing what made him special. I mean, who knows, maybe he could do like a mixture of both. Like, he'll be a control type boxer for most of the fight, then when he can really, or more like when he really needs to finish it quickly, he'll just go all out and start like JoJo barraging. I don't know. Also, another thing that Alex had that sort of made him special as compared to the others was the fact that he was really inventive and creative and did whatever it took to win. He also had that thing where he did like the wrestling move with Rowan when he was sparring with him, I guess. That led to nothing. Like, what was the point of like bringing that up if he tries it and it doesn't work? It's been how many? It's been like 3 seasons, and Alex has not yet won a single fight. Alex has had moments of being good, like when he suspected, like when he knew that Timothy was following him. But moments like that are so few and far between, and they're so small that like it feels underwhelming to me. If Alex isn't a good fighter, he doesn't have to fight to be an asset to Yoon Jang. Like, honestly, I honestly feel like Alex would be a good diplomat for the team. Like, I don't know, if he had to rally allies to fight the Union. Like I said back in the viral hit video, I think Alex is probably the most sociable out of all of them, and because of that, he'd be a really good diplomat. It would be better than him losing every single time. And I know that this arc wasn't about Alex. It was about Gerard and him reliving his past and, you know, sort of finding out more things about himself, which, I mean, yeah, let's talk about Gerard. Gerard's backstory was okay. I liked it better than Ben and Alex's backstory. I didn't like it as much as Gray's, but like honestly, that's kind of unfair. Like Gray's backstory was honestly just the best. I feel like when it comes to like when you go into a character's backstory like this, you either have to A, tie it into the main plot somehow so it's relevant, or B, you have to make it really interesting. Like, you have to introduce, like, a lot of new information about a character and really analyze them and, like, figure out why they are who they are and, I don't know, just like, explore them in a new perspective. And they don't really do either particularly great, but it was still good. It was just sort of Gerard being Gerard, which I like. I like seeing Gerard just... I do kind of find the moments where it's just Gray and everybody else just living their everyday lives to be the most interesting parts of the story. Like, when they're not dealing with the Union and just sort of going through their everyday lives, that's honestly the most interesting part to me. But yeah, going back to Gerard's story, okay, obviously it doesn't tie into the main plot really that much. I mean, they mentioned Manwol. We didn't really find out anything about Gerard that we didn't already know. It showed his beginnings in music, which, I mean, yeah, we always knew he had a strong tie to music, but it didn't really elaborate on it very well. This honestly would have been a great time to introduce music in this webtoon. Like, some webtoons, you have the option to play a song to read with the comic, and I actually thought that would have been really good here. I really just wish they explained Gerard's fascination with music. I wish Gerard would explain what music was to him. Like, we get a few moments of him just listening to his partner's music work and being really enraptured in the sound. And we also see flashbacks of him as a kid. We have a flashback within a flashback of him just listening to this band as a young child and being totally enamored with them. It could have been one of those things where it's like, you show, don't tell, but like if I can't listen to it, if I can't even read the lyrics of what he's listening to, then like, I don't know, I kind of wish there was an explanation. It would have been a really good way to flesh out his character. The only major things we did find out about Gerard that I think are like really important was how he became the Mad Hound, why he uses only his feet in fights, which I did legitimately think was kind of nice and interesting. We find out possibly why he was looking after Gray all the way in the beginning of the series, which was really sweet because it shows here that like he was picked on because of his height, because he was really tall, and so everyone sort of used him as a way to like assert themselves. Both Gray and Gerard were picked on because of their physical appearances for different reasons, but still. But yeah, those were the only, I guess, important reveals in Gerard's backstory. I guess he and Kingsley don't have any beef at all, which, I mean, I guess that's fine. None of the other characters from Gerard's backstory reach like Steven tier, but that's unfair. Like I said, that's like unfair to compare them. There was also that guy that Gerard had a rivalry with that I think his name was Hyung Shin. I apologize if I mispronounce it, but he was fine. Hear me out, guys. What if instead of Hyung Shin losing his hands trying to save Gerard from the burning building, what if after he tells Gerard, like, yeah, I'm gonna be a solo artist, I already have like a bunch of auditions. This was all just a joke. What if at that moment Gerard goes into a rage and breaks all of his fingers, and it utterly ruins his music career, and then Gerard, like, after he realizes what he's done, like, just feels super bad and realizes he just, like, even if it was kind of a jerk of a guy, he ruined a talented artist's music career, and then after that, he vows to never use his hands again. Like, that's honestly the direction, like, that was the direction I thought it was going to go in. And I was like, oh my god, this is going to become super dark and Gerard's going to, like, have this tragic backstory of, like, actually doing something terrible. I'm not saying that my version of events would have been better, but I want to hear what you guys think. Like, what if that happened instead of how it played out in the webtoon? Like, because it would be like way darker, right? I don't know. I think it would have been really interesting. But like, you know, I'm happy with the way it turned out. And I want to hear like what you guys think in the comments below. However, I will say, when Gerard like showed the scars on top of his forehead and like does the uppercut thing like to the guy of the duo, like to the strong guy of the duo, I was blown away. That was awesome. That was an awesome reveal. So kudos to the artist and the author too, like for making that. Like that was such a cool shot. Ben and Gray also go on a trip to go find Steven and they don't find him. I really like the B plot. Like, I'm not gonna lie, there was a small part of me that would have wanted to see Steven make a comeback, but like, first of all, it would make no sense and it would kind of demean everything Gray went through. So I respect them for sticking to that decision. Philip Kim is also back, which is pretty cool. I kind of want to see Philip Kim and Jared's son and that glasses guy from Gray's cram school to all like come together and like interact or maybe even team up to like take control of the union or something. I think that would be really funny. At this point, Alex has taken so many losses that like even if he does do something, it's kind of too little too late. Like at this point, the only redemption Alex could have is if like he defeated Wolf or something, or Donald Knott, which is never gonna happen because that would make no sense. But yeah, those are my completely unorganized and jumbled thoughts about what's been happening in Week Hero. I hope you guys enjoyed. Oh yeah, they did do a live action skit for Week Hero, and I was so happy when they did that. Like it's actually really good, and I recommend you all go watch it. That's all I got for you guys today. So until next time, thank you for watching.